about to get very surgical, so stay with me, okay? I believe that Not Like Us is bigger than hip hop. Okay, I felt that way when it came out, but as it's grown and I've seen the impact it's had on the world outside of America, which is the part that a lot of people are not paying attention to, I recognize Not Like Us is bigger than hip hop. Okay? Now, I'm sure you have an idea of what I mean by that, but let me explain what I mean. It's probably different than what you're thinking. Okay? For some of y'all. But one of the main points is that Not Like Us, to me, is a pride anthem way more than it is a diss track. It seems as if Drake was used as a tool to send this message. Like Kendrick used Drake as the epitome of what he's trying to push through the culture as far as black representation, like true representation of the black American in these spaces. It makes so much more sense. It connects so much more when you see the way he tried to the way he delivered the song with the ebonics, with the wah wah wah, certain things that only we know about. You see what I'm saying? And people who grew up within proximity of us would know about. But if you are a distance from that, you wouldn't understand, right? And when I say it's a pride anthem, when we think about the history of the colony and versus the colonizer, right? People think that some people think that only happens on land. Like people only pull up and take land and rewrite the history and all that stuff. But that happens in art as well. Okay. And I believe that's what we witnessed, or at least witnessed somebody try to attempt, was completely hijacked the genre. You see what I'm saying? And that brings me to, before we even get to Drake, right? I just want to go over this real quick. Colonization is a process of establishing occupation of or control over foreign territories or peoples for the purpose of cultivation, exploitation, trade, and possibly settlement. Setting up coloniality and often colonies commonly pursued and maintained by, but distinct from, imperialism, mercantilism, or colonialism. Okay? Colonization is sometimes used synonymously with setting, as with colonization in biology. And overall, a colonizer or an attempt to colonize is always going to be centered around occupying a space that is foreign to you in order to set up, you see what I'm saying? You making profit, you gaining resources to gain control and more power, essentially. We see this with America when we, during World War II, during the 70s even. We were going to so many different independent regimes, wiping them out, and then putting our own brainwashing the people that lived there with what we call democracy. Okay, this happens in music too, and that brings me to Drake. Okay, when we think about Drake from the beginning, I'm sure most of us had a weird feeling about this situation when it came to Drake. Even if you grew to like the music, you probably had a weird feeling about the energy surrounding this dude or a situation that showed you that. You see what I'm saying? And like me, I was young, so I ended up enjoying Drake's early music regardless, but it was still like, felt weird putting him in certain categories, and sometimes you couldn't put your finger on it because, I'm so young. But as you get older, you see the things that he does, the antics, etc., you start to realize that that's what we all been feeling in our spirit this whole time, that something's been off about the culture, that something's been missing within the community itself. And there was something in the air there. And what people don't understand is hip hop is really our spirit source. So wherever hip hop is going, that's where we're going. I think they figured that out. So with Kendrick Lamar flipping the script with the representation, the way we're being seen, the way and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it matters the way we, like, or in my opinion, the way we're being seen. But propaganda and representation is everything. Perception is everything. Perception is more important than reality for a lot of people. So because of that, we got to think about the things that Drake does. Drake mocks hip hop. He does a lot of colonizer things. He mocks hip hop. You see what I'm saying? He code switches. You see what I'm saying? He goes from using one side of his life in order to gain culture cachet, and another side of his life to gain power and power within the politics of the music industry. You see what I'm saying? And when he mocks hip hop and he does things like, for example, right? He'll buy hip hop memorabilia. You feel me? And then talk like he stole it from you or flex on you. So you think he buying it because he loved the culture and all this. But really, you get to his verse on this song, and he's talking about, I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss, give a fuck about all that heritage shit. What does that sound like to you? That sound like America. That sound like any colonizing country, any colonizing movement that has the goal to remove the people who are originally there to a different spot while they curate the space that was there before they got there. You see what I'm saying? This is the same shit. Pulling up to temples and stealing artifacts and destroying artifacts and then rewriting the history. This is what this is. You see what I'm saying? Buying hip-hop memorabilia like Tupac's ring and Pharrell's chains and then threatening to melt them down because you don't care about the heritage of hip-hop. That's what he said. And it didn't rate a red flag for a lot of people, which is interesting. And then when you get to these comments about slaves all the time, you see what I'm saying? That I don't really be hearing people talk about. He talking about whipped and chained you like American slaves. First of all, you're Canadian. Why are you even speaking on this, sir? Second of all, you only half black. And that's okay. But you gotta be okay. You gotta be wary with some of the statements you making talking about whipped and chained you like American slaves. You are double less qualified to be making statements in that sense. Because this is not where you derive from. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing of any culture. Okay? And when you get Kendrick Lamar dropping Not Like Us, right? And it's an energy shift. Okay? Oh, I forgot. When Drake went and did the Tupac AI voice. That's when you start playing around with the spirits and the ancestors of this shit. And I feel like that's when everything turned left. Underestimating the power, the true power of the culture beyond the things you can't see. You see what I'm saying? But somebody of Drake's ilk wouldn't be able to understand that. You feel me? And when you look at it from that perspective and you think about Not Like Us from that perspective, and you think about the fact that hip-hop isn't the only place where Not Like Us is powerful. Not Like Us is powerful in a situation for anybody who is the colony. For any colony across the world, you could be black, Middle Eastern, white, whatever it is. Not Like Us is a pride anthem that derives pride within you and your people. You see what I'm saying? But I think the energy really explodes in people who are in position of being, prisoners of war or just the bottom of the barrel of the society that they're in. You see what I'm saying? The people who are treated unfairly. And what people don't understand is when black people dance, and don't get me wrong, I love all my people on my channel and all that, but I gotta speak to my people too sometimes. And what we don't understand is that when we dance, the world dances. So what we don't understand is because we dance, the world and the world follow us. Whatever we dance to, that's what the world is about to follow, and that's what our people are gonna follow. So Kendrick Lamar dropping Not Like Us and spinning the narrative. One of the biggest songs coming out is a true representation of our culture and who we are without, you see what I'm saying? Like, trying to make it these negative perceptions. You feel me? That they play off of. The representation of our culture is not just for respectability politics. Respectability politics, we don't care about that. It's about the young kids who are within the culture looking at the adults and the role models and saying, what are they doing? Because eventually they will be influenced by that. You see what I'm saying? And Not Like Us is a song where you got all this curriculum coming out to schools about, the history. Kendrick Lamar give you a whole history and a step-to-step breakdown on how colonization really happened. But disguised it in a diss track. Once upon a time, all of us were in chains. Homies still doubled down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca building railroads and trains. Like, this is knowledge that people probably not going to be able to get as time goes on, considering they want to remove the history from the schools. And when we look at it from that perspective, Not Like Us is much bigger than hip-hop. Not Like Us is for any... I know y'all seen that one soccer game where the team had it lit up in the stands. Like, this is this message in this song is so powerful, right? And Kendrick is doing a great job at sneaking these messages in there, almost talking in code, like we used to do during slavery. You see what I'm saying? The Negro spirituals, we would sing codes through the Negro spirituals. And this is exactly how I view a lot of Kendrick Lamar's music, but especially this, because only we understand the energy that's coming from the song. A lot of people like it, only some of us feel it. It channels a certain energy in you, don't it? It's channels a certain pride and you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you feel me? You sitting straight, you feel me? So this song is definitely bigger than hip hop in my perspective. And I think that in any war where there's the colony versus the colonizer, etc., this song is a representation of those who are going against the colonization. That's what this song is. This song is a war cry. This song is a pride anthem. You know what I'm saying? I'm black and I'm proud. Like it's in a different sense, but it's the same thing. It reminds me of so many old pop songs and that derive from bringing that real pride. It's kind of like all right, but this is just harder because it's dressed in the seclusion of our culture. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I wanted to get on here and talk about. You see what I'm saying? I believe Not Like Us is bigger than hip hop. I think I'm gonna go live and break it down some more. You feel me? I just want to get some quick content out real quick. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for coming and see